this place!
Hey, man, is that
Double D?
Yeah, man. Well, turn it up, man.
Let's just go in and, like, kill all the orcs, right? They're the bad guys, who gives a shit? We just hack and slash and we loot their dead bodies, right? Hack and slash, kill them all, you know, conquer the infidels.
Boy, that campaign sounds like a barrel of fun, doesn't it?
Somebody who's opening a refrigerator and leaning in, right, is the language of a woman. Somebody who's opening their refrigerator and being cut off halfway through that lean is the voice of like a mermaid or a siren, right?
This is not the face of the hobby anymore. And I think there's been mistakes made in years past where people assumed that D&D players were all, you know, white dudes in a basement. Which has been a faulty assumption for a lot of years and gets more and more false every day. And so it's, in my viewpoint, honestly, guys like me can't leave soon enough.
I just had to be born with empathy and a weakness for socialism and femboys.
You gotta put a little hot sauce on the taco, you know what I mean?
We want this dwarf to be the dwarfiest dwarf.
Right.
We want the elf to be the elfiest elf.
And just the dashiest dash of Tabasco.
Their voices need to carry across water.
I'm a creative. It's a huge drain, right? Because fans can be awful.
When we got the descriptions, they were very adamant. They were like, try not to make it like a white blonde guy. Like, please, like, we love them, but there's like 500 million of them.
The diversity that the characters need to have needs to reflect the gaming world now. The mix of people that are playing these games, you know, it's not, 13-year-old white boys held up in their basements. It's a very diverse crowd,
You say white lives matter, they don't. White lives don't matter because white lives aren't a thing.
What's this? What's this? It's the jacket.
The jacket.
Lutherville, Marina Del X, Otisburg. Who's this monster? She's got her own place. Otisburg. It's a little bitty place. Otisburg. Okay, I just wipe it off. That's all. It's a little town. Yep.
Okay. We'll do it live. Okay. No. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks.
5, 4, 3.
Great sandwich.
Just try and whack it. Yes, this is good. And again. That's it. And again. Try and breathe. Relax. That's it. Up, move back up. Whoa.
Double zeros, baby! How it do? How it do? How it do? How it do?
Oh, it do.
Oh boy, can't get this up on my phone. So I like to take a little peek just to see where we're at. Oh, there we go. We're good now. See how many of you wonderful people are already in here. Good Lord.
Me and Panther will add it up later.
Yeah,
we'll get back
I was
to you.
gonna say, you guys are. How is everybody doing? Hope you're all well.
I see Atomic, Surly, T-shirt.
Oh, T-shirt.
Jeff from Denkar.
Did you get my message? T-shirted. Did you get my message about this coming Saturday? I can do it for a little bit. I can do T-shirted's show.
Disco's
already
breaking the seal. Let me pop that up.
Already. Yar, dog brothers. and Sword Sisters. I like that. That's his tagline.
Okay.
Dog Brothers and Sword Sisters. Let's get this pillage started. Yes, indeedy.
T-shirt did respond. He said he did get your message.
Okay. If that's good, then we'll be good to go. I'm good depending on when you start. I think you usually start at 5 or 5:30. I'm good till 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Jeff Hash wants everyone to know he is in the house.
Jeff, good to see you, man. Good to see you. Boy, no Rogan tonight. It was a last minute cancel, and
he's at home washing his tights.
Washing his tights. Yeah. I had a shitload of stuff set up for auto enrolling tonight too. I'm like, it's been it'll have been 2 weeks. Had a little scenery just at hand, because obviously we don't pre-plan this stuff like Critical Role, but just in case the boys got into it, I had some scenery I could throw on the table. But Rogan could not make it tonight. Rats.
He's got a busy morning, and maybe there's a train or something he's got to weld together. He fixes trains and stuff like that. So
he's got a lot going on in his life right now.
Yeah.
So it's
he's missed tonight. That's for shizzle, as Snoop would say.
All right. So
what if we had Snoop as a he's pretty popular right now. What if we had him as a side, like a co-host?
He is. He did the Olympic thing. That kind of made him non-threatening to all the suburban white ladies.
He's in he's on The Voice with whoever else is on the show. I don't know. Gwen. I know Gwen is.
His image is getting softened. So yeah, he doesn't even. I remember in 2020 or something. I remember he said something really awful about Trump. I hate Trump, and now all of a sudden he's like, I got no problem with Trump. So he's trying to soften his
image,
his mainstream appeal. That's fine.
He is big friends with Martha Stewart.
Yeah. I'd heard of. I'd seen them together. They
did maybe a cooking show together a couple times and stuff like that. They hit it off.
Yes. All right. So a lot of things to talk about.
Let's get in. Let Michael Buffer. Let's get it on. No, that's Mills Lane. Let's get it on.
All right.
Atomic Martha Stewart is a felon. Yes.
Yeah. Well, they share that in common. Was Snoop Dogg ever convicted for anything?
I'm sure he's done something.
Okay. All right. Look at this guy. Patrick double zeros, baby. Will forever define expensive failure to me. Yeah. I will be there to document every bit of it, Patrick. Because it's kind of funny to me too that everybody just shoveled MCDM a ton of money, and Matt Colville was like, well, I guess we got to make this game now. What should we do? All right. Let's get right into it, shall we? All right. So first of all, in case you guys didn't know, Player's Handbook for D&D is now live. I think Travis Fauber sent this to me. So, because I think somebody sent it to him. The 2024 edition and the 2014 edition, $2 separates them. Now, I don't know if that's just Amazon taking their, doing what Amazon does, but to me, that's not a great thing for Wizards of the Coast that it's already kind of as heavily discounted as the in-stock 2014 edition.
Is it like a bundle price or something? Or is that...
No, because I think Player's Handbook is the only one that's available right now. So you guys in the chat, let me know. But I don't see any a lot of hype over this book on Twitter. Now maybe I'm just out of those circles on Twitter, but I don't see a lot of fuss and hype about this. Is it just me? I mean, you guys will have to let me know what you guys are seeing out there in the wild, so to speak. But I don't really see anything about this. It just seems to have come and gone like, meh. Yeah, he had to talk to the vet. Okay, good to see you here, Cal. Cal, you may be busy tonight. We may be invaded later by Jake's army of retards.
Double D dropped some knowledge on me today. I have the power to ban people, so watch out.
Yeah, which I told you not to do. For the most, unless somebody's like spamming, like just is essentially acting like a spaz. Don't. I think Cal knows that too. All right, so I don't know what you guys are seeing out here, but I don't see a lot of hype over the player's handbook. DMG. Oh, that must be pre-sale. Joe, for $49.
Is player's handbook the first one to come out?
Yeah.
Which one could you get at Gen Con?
That was the player's handbook. Yeah.
Okay.
They're staggering them. I think, will the DM's guide be available next month or maybe sometime in November? And then I think the monster manual is like right after the turn of the new year. At least that's what I'm going on memory here. But there was also something else. So some people have covered this, and we're gonna listen to it because some people have kind of printed the like a small transcript of what Chris Cox said. Chris Cox is the CEO of Hasbro, and he was on a conference call with Goldman Sachs, and they were talking about a lot of things. And the one thing we'll talk about is AI. But what caught me was how little they really did talk about D&D in this Goldman Sachs conference call. Disco Barbarian, $2. Waiting for the D&D Steam sale. Yeah. All right, so we can get into this right now. Yeah, one per quarter. Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess that would make sense. So this is third, then something into fourth, and then first quarter next year. Makes sense. All right. So again, this was just this past week. It was just one of those investor calls run by Goldman Sachs where they had Chris Cox and whoever the CFO. It's a woman. I can't remember her name right now, but the pertinent part is said by Chris Cox here. As I said, this was a half-hour conference call with these two, and all they seemed to talk about was their core brands. And when it delved into Wizards of the Coast, for the most part, they talked about Magic. I listened to like the first...
Like Magic the Gathering?
Magic the Gathering, and how that was his most... that was his proudest, I guess, moment is just kind of overseeing Magic to be like 1.2 billion, I think they expect it. From 400 million, whatever, however many years back. $10 north of the Rockies. Thank you very much. Waiting for D&D to become abandonware. Well, they can't abandon it. But I don't know if they really know what to do with it now. They had to kind of wring the sponge a little bit to get the last drops out of it. They didn't want a 4th edition thing by changing things too much. So it's almost kind of like, I don't know. Yeah, Ollie's next warehouse buyout. Yeah. All right, so let's listen a little bit, though, about what Chris Cox, the Hasbro CEO. Now, he's not the president, per se, of Wizards of the Coast. That is Jim Haidt, I think is his name, from Blizzard. But this is like Jim Haidt's boss, the overall CEO. So let's get into it.
Before I get into margins and cost structure, a question, high-level question on AI. I'm curious, to the extent that you're utilizing AI or seeing it used more broadly in the content industry or even in the toy industry. What you're seeing in terms of what the technology is capable of, and specifically around content. Do you think it has the potential to maybe bend the cost curve either on the TV film side of the equation or perhaps in your digital gaming business to bring the cost curve down and maybe make that capital investment a little bit more efficient for you?
All right, so he's asking him basically the role that AI is going to play in Hasbro. Just a kind of a long-winded way to ask that. T-shirted, $5. Chris Cox looks like David Hasselhoff if you bought.
Do you know who else he looks like? He looks like if anybody knows some former ESPN personalities, he looks a little bit like Dan Le Batard.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I think I've seen pictures of this guy when he was younger too. He's kind of fleshing out, as they say.
Looks like Bam Bam.
Yeah, he does. All right, so let's see what Chris says in response. What are you going to do with AI at Hasbro?
Well, I think inside of development, we've already been using AI, and most major developers have been using AI for years. It's mostly like a machine learning based AI or more of a proprietary based AI as opposed to a more general kind of like ChatGPT kind of approach. You know, we will deploy it significantly and liberally internally, both as like a knowledge worker aid and as a development aid. I'm probably more excited though in terms of the playful elements of AI. You know, if you just look at a typical D&D play, going back to kind of like the theme I had around, you know, don't be afraid of what your players are doing, embrace what your players are doing. If you look at like a typical D&D player.
Okay, so I didn't want to subject you guys to this whole call. It's important for you to remember though, aside from like mentions of like Baldur's Gate and maybe a future in-house video game. It's kind of like StarCraft for D&D. I think it's called Exodus or something. Up until this point, they had not even mentioned D&D. So the first mention of D&D, really the actual game, is in regards to AI. To me, that was a little telling. Ooh, Snake Oil Sean, $5. What got me was when Cox said he games 3 to 4 times a month with 30 to 40 players. Yeah, in fact, we may hear that right now. Does he have a 10-player group? Exactly. It's crazy. It's probably one of those like kind of forced, you know, kind of one of those mandatory fun things. Like you get a job at Wizards of the Coast, like, oh, yeah, you'll
team building.
Yeah, you'll be drafted into, you know, the CEO's game. You better go if you know what's good for your career. All right, so let's continue.
And you better enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I play with probably 30 or 40 people D&D regularly. There's not a single person who doesn't use AI somehow for either campaign development or character development or story ideas. That's a clear signal that we need to be embracing it. We need to do it carefully. We need to do it responsibly. We need to make sure we pay creators for their work, and we need to make sure we're clear when something is AI generated. But the themes around, you know, using AI to enable user-generated content, using AI to streamline new player introduction, and then using AI for emergent storytelling, I think you're going to see that across not just like our hardcore brands like D&D, but across multiple of our brands, from kids to adults. Got it.
Emergent brands.
I wonder if people
emergent storytelling
give him like he makes people play you know, I play with 30 or 40 people, which, you know, whatever. But like, can you imagine every idea at the table that comes from him is probably the greatest idea ever? Because what are you supposed to say?
Boss, would you kill my character again?
Yeah.
It's an honor,
Thank you, sir. May I have another?
Yeah, thank you, sir. May I have another? Go ahead and grab Jeff's there.
Yep.
Jeff Hatch, good to see you, my friend. $10. Did you guys hear that the new starter set is going to ruin? Oh, keep on the Borderlands as the adventure. Yeah, I heard they're gonna sully that. Hey, no sacred cows, right? We know this by now. All right, so a couple of things about AI. First of all, am I against AI? Not at all. Am I against AI in using it for RPGs? It kind of depends, but in general, yeah, as a kind of like a tool or a prod. Let's say you're a DM, you know, who's been, you know, DMing for, you know, over 30 years straight. And sometimes you're like, okay, what could be going on in this city, you know, right now? Just go to a ChatGPT. ChatGPT, give me 25 encounters you might find in a cosmopolitan, you know, D&D low magic city. It'll spit out a bunch of stuff. Now, It's important to remember probably about 80% of it is garbage. 10% you might have to really stretch, but maybe there's something there. And then look, maybe 10% is like, ooh, I can run with this. It's giving you like the spark. Like, oh, okay, I can work this into my campaign, like this. Oh, the bad guys here could be, this. So this could be going on in the background. $10, Patrick Demo. All I have in my head now is Chris Cox at one of those long boardroom tables with his DM screen, staring down a long line of nervous board members, fiddling with dice and nursing character sheets. Yeah.
Kind of like in Christmas Vacation, where they all go visit Bob Shirley and they drop off the Christmas present.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yep. Or Monty Python. Splunge for me, sir. Yes, indeed. Hungar the Starvarian. $2. Good to see you, Hungar.
Missed you last week.
Yeah, I had my shirt on for him, didn't I?
Yep, sure.
Had my Hungar shirt on, Hungar, and you weren't there, brother. No problem, though.
Maybe it was a KFC. Something.
Yeah. I think the D&D as the core game for us is just, that's a good point. It really is. But it doesn't mean we can't talk about it. Some people say like, well, if you don't care anymore, why are you talking about it? Because it's interesting.
It's water cooler fodder.
Look, you can be realistic about your ex, but if your ex, gets married and, marries a millionaire or something, or, becomes a millionaire herself, obviously you're not going to be able to ignore it. So, it's just, does it consume you? Nah, it doesn't really consume me, but it is kind of interesting to watch how all of this plays out.
I likened it before on air, like when LeBron left the Cavs.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I watched Heat games because I wanted to see him fail.
At first, you're like, all right, let's watch this guy fall flat on his face.
This guy broke my heart.
Yeah. So, there is some of that. But like I said,
in fairness, Double D, I've also said when LeBron said I'm coming back to the Cavs, I accepted him with open arms.
Yeah, that's why if Wizards of the Coast got sold or said it's time for a course correction,
everyone would be right back.
Yeah, be like, okay, I'm listening. I'm not going to trust you implicitly, but let's hear what you got. Disco Barbarian, $10. Early MVP. A lazy person will not create anything that isn't basic with AI. A creative person who has learned the tool can create something you would never be able to tell. Yes, exactly. It's about the tool and the creative. And to me, that gets to the point.
And that's exactly what JJM.
Yeah, JJM Director, $2. Yeah, AI is a tool. You are the sculptor. Yes, it's to give you a prompt. Now, they are talking about using their own machine learning AI. To me, that you know what that says to me, guys? That says we're going to use it. We're going to lean on it heavily to design adventures, probably adventures to start with, but maybe like some source book, large swaths of that stuff with only a little bit of editing and cleaning up, of course. Disco Barbarian, $5. Again, finger painters lamented when paintbrushes were invented. Yeah, I do agree with Chris Cox in a way. Like, you can't just run away from these technologies, and if you find out your player base is using this stuff, it's not a bad idea to kind of investigate it and see what you can bring in house. Now, here's what we know: there's no talent left to speak of at Wizards of the Coast, which means hold on to your seats here. I would expect a minor improvement in quality if they're using AI. Shocking as that is, it also depends on what they're using the machine learning for. How far back are they looking at stuff, telling it to learn from?
Someone at that 40-person table has some good ideas.
Well, yeah,
but they're afraid to say them.
Yeah, but now it's like they may be drowned out by, oh, it's okay, we're just going to go with the AI here. You can do a few things around the edges, nibble around a little bit, but we're going to stick with the main story, the main storyline of what the AI spit out. There might be a couple of diamonds in the rough there, but the people that they're promoting, man,
they're the ones that laugh the hardest at his jokes at the table.
Oh God, yeah. That would be my, if I was the CEO, that would be my litmus test. Who's laughing the hardest? Those are the people you trust the least. Jeffrem Denkar, he's been a member for many months. Thank you, Jeffrem. I do appreciate it. I appreciate all you members, everybody who gives gifts of memberships and super chats. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for keeping the ship afloat. While AI has its uses, I will always prefer to keep it to books, paper, pencils, dice, and good company. Yes. So would I. Yeah, absolutely. Patrick, $2. I hate that you're right about that D&D. Well, that's my curse. I'm right about everything, Patrick. So I would expect a minor increase in quality. I honestly would, because I don't think these people have produced anything good lately. I don't know if, any others of you agree other than Patrick, but for them, it's probably smart. JJM hitting us up $2 again. Hey, this WotC AI is calling me racist. Yeah. Oh boy, does that bring up some tangled webs. So, just to be clear, I'm not against AI. I use AI as a DM to a minor extent. It's for prompts. Sometimes it's for little like color things here and there. Basically, using it for these things could be happening wherever the PCs are. Now, it's up to them if they want to investigate it. That's why you have to flesh it out if they choose to pursue those angles. So there's nothing wrong with that. As a company, boy, I would want to be very transparent about how much an AI created an adventure. And it's almost like, how do you even do it these days? It's going to get to a point where so-and-so is going to say they worked on an adventure. Well, okay, maybe they go home at night. I mean, they work ChatGPT like a $5 hooker. And they come in and say, oh, no, I mean, I came up with all this on my own. They don't copy it verbatim, but they just pretty much paraphrase everything. You don't know anymore. Quite frankly, you don't know that about anybody anymore. In a way, it's kind of scary, but it's just kind of the way things are. And look, you could also take this point of view. I'll get that in a moment here. If what is being produced is entertaining and you like it, does it matter? That's kind of a philosophical question that each and every one of us is going to have to answer for themselves. And I don't know if there's necessarily a wrong answer to it. It's like I always say with you guys about, these companies that hate you. Like, look, you got your own red line. If you like the shit, you like the game that they're putting out, then by all means, you got to stick with it. You can't just because some, random Yahoo on YouTube says these guys, hate your guts. You could be like, well, they hate my guts, but I don't care. It's still a good game. And that is just as valid as anything. Triple B, Boss Bully Boy, $2. Is it true they took Blackmore off the world map? I'm not sure. Maybe I do remember hearing something about that, but I can't remember what it was. Chat, help out Triple B. Did they really do it? Maybe, unless they wanted to avoid something legal, that's always a consideration. Sometimes we may think like, they're disparaging Dave Arneson and, Gary Gygax, and most of the time they are. However, there are certain things where it could just be something legal.
Before we get to snake oil, look who's in the house.
Ooh, look at this guy.
Look at this guy.
Showing up in the chat.
Never takes a bad picture.
Yes, that's right. We should go back to finger painting. The paintbrush was a mistake. There we go. The Luddite hath spoken. Good to see you, Avenger. Good to see you, my friend. Snake Oil Sean, 5 memberships. Mr. Steady Eddie, dependable channel supporter.
Making it rain at the strip club.
You guys, all of you, we appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. Disco, Sean, all the rest of you guys. Like I said, means a lot. Helps keep the channel afloat.
Remember when we needed super chats to buy a mic?
Yeah. Well, it helped. Let's just say. So I don't know. That's the way I feel about AI. Maybe it surprised some of you. I know RPG Pundit did a video on it. I purposely didn't watch it because I didn't want to be colored by his take on it. I kind of just wanted to keep it, just straight, give it to you guys straight from the horse's mouth, so to speak, and then, my view. So, I don't know. How do we feel about AI? I said a lot of talk about paintbrushes.
No one's responded to the Blackmore thing yet. I'm looking and I'm not seeing it.
Know? Triple B. And the thing is, it's like right kind of in the back of my head that there was something. Oh, it was renamed to an Arneson, not I think they like renamed it or something.
Thank you,
is
Cold
right.
War.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. And I don't know why they did it. In this case, like I said, there may be something legal that they didn't feel comfortable. Remember guys, that we did that. Well, I did that video on Studio Inkbat, and the whole kerfuffle with the Arneson estate. Maybe the Arneson estate is putting out vibes that, hey, you know what, you better be careful using our name. And maybe they just thought it wasn't worth it. I would have hoped that.
That's kind of what T-shirt just said. We're afraid to respond.
Yeah,
we don't get sued.
You might get sued. Yeah, exactly. And that's from a corporate perspective. That's kind of wise if you think about it. I don't know. I mean, they could have done the right thing and just called the Arneson estate and said, hey, we want to include Blackmore on here. We want to hype it up a little bit. Can we come to some sort of a modest agreement, putting a little money in the Arneson estate's pocket? They ain't going to do that. They're a Fortune 500 company. We think it's so personal with them. And sometimes it is with like their frontline employees who are very much leftist activists. But some of these suits, they don't care. I was shocked that a week before the release of the Player's Handbook, Chris Cox and the CFO barely mentioned it. They barely mentioned D&D, and I don't know if I didn't listen to the last like 5 or 6 minutes, so maybe they did there, but I don't think they mentioned it at all. All they talked about was like Peppa Pig, My Little Pony, some partnership with like some Chinese company for My Little Pony stuff. Baldur's Gate, which is a D&D brand, but it's not the game. It's not the game that we're talking about. And Magic, the Gathering. Those are the cash cows. This, I don't want to say is a lost leader right now, because once they get that virtual tabletop up and running, Sigil or whatever the fuck it's called, it'll start to be a cash cow for him. And at that point, more power to him. And look, if you can milk, fees from somebody, for paying for a digital figure that has a slightly different pose, I mean, more power to you. If they want to buy it, that's fine. I mean, that's where I would draw the line. Hasbro is broke. They had a lot of cash in 20, and they've spent it all since. I looked at their financials. In fact, I think I did a stream on it. It was like a Saturday stream. I don't know if they're as broke as you may be leading on, Magnificent Devil, if I, may disagree respectfully. They're not in a great position, but they were really saddled. I think there was an entertainment division that they had that was like an albatross around their neck, but they've jettisoned that.
Who's this guy?
Laranjaco.
Oh, wait a minute. Ooh. So someone did read that milk carton we put out a little bit ago.
Good to see you, Laranjaco. But yeah, so I don't know. What do you want from me? Gary only included a county of Blackmore and technically a separate setting. Yeah. Probably just a nod early on to, at the time, his kind of friend. Soon his frenemy. Well, all right. Let's see if there's anything else. Oh, yeah, there is one thing I want to talk about regarding this.
Before I get into margins and
let's not talk about that. All right, so the reason the AI thing was kind of confusing to people because this is their policy around AI art. Both brands have their own artist handbooks. They're talking about Magic and D&D here. These are not public documents, but every artist who works with us is given a copy and is expected to stick to the guidelines. The core is this: Magic and D&D have been built on the innovation, ingenuity, and hard work of talented people who sculpt these beautiful, creative games. As such, we require artists, writers, and creatives contributing to Magic and D&D to refrain from using AI generative tools to create final Magic or D&D products. Can you see where this is confusing? Because it doesn't say images, it says using AI generative tools. Well, here's Chris Cox a little bit later saying, oh yeah, we're totally leaning into this. Not disavowing this Q&A in any way. We've made a few other statements publicly as well, including 2 recent statements on our policy on generative AI art in Magic products. Patrick Demo, $5. If Colville can get people to pay literal millions for RPG vaporware, Cox can make money with a VTT. Oh, without a doubt. Yeah, guys, if you were someday hired, by some odd coincidence to be CEO of Hasbro, you'd do it too. Because you'd have the board of directors and the shareholders breathing down your neck. Well, you got to figure out a way to monetize D&D. Well, we can only put out a new edition every so often. And by the way, people love 5th edition, the people that are playing it. Don't get rid of it. Well, how are we supposed to put out a new edition if people love this one? Well, that's what we have with this. And I think the sales are going to be a little underwhelming for the actual books. But I think if they can hang in there and get their virtual tabletop in check, they'll be rolling in the money, guys. If Hasbro stock is low, I don't know. This is something I might take a flyer on, honestly, if I was investing, because you guys have no idea how many, I don't want to call them complete suckers there are out there, but look, they just want to support D&D and they're fine playing on a VTT. So you can swim against the tide, or you can let it, you can take the lazy river approach.
When those nerds are playing that game on video, Critical Role, is that all Dungeons and Dragons, or are they playing other games too?
Yeah, they're playing 5e now, but they're doing their own system. It's so forgettable. I almost forgot the name. I spent like a whole live stream kind of going through the rules. It looks awful.
We should get the guy that we had dinner with on our show, Joe Magnello.
Well, had dinner with.
Hey, whoa. Was he just not the table next to us? It's just a big room, family style.
Yeah, behind a curtain. We'll talk with him. I thought this was kind of funny. Now, this is from the EN World article, so credit to them here. Hey, Chris, how you doing, buddy? So they reported earlier, this is EN World talking here, that Wizards of the Coast communication director Greg Tito had left his 9-year stint managing the D&D brand for a political appointment as Deputy Director of External Affairs for the Washington Secretary of State's office. In a surprising turn of events, now this is Wizards of the Coast's former communications director. This would be a job similar to what my son has. Had,
right?
Yeah. In a surprising turn of events, Tito criticized his former employer, saying it feels good to do something that doesn't just line the pockets of a-holes. He later went on to clarify, sorry, I meant shareholders. Oh, wow. Tito is now Deputy Director of External Affairs, the Washington Secretary of State in Olympia, which means he's probably a commie, which is why he hates shareholders. But I just thought that was kind of amusing that, look, when you invite these kind of people into your house, these snakes, don't be surprised when they bite you on the way out the door.
That just reminded me of, you just quoted Jerry Maguire. You don't even know it.
Oh, did I?
Yeah. You let that snake. He was describing Bob Sugar, who was played by Jay Moore.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot Jay Moore was in that way. That's how long it's been since I've seen Jerry Maguire. Probably due for a rewatch, right? That's a pretty good movie. Yeah, that's a good movie. Yeah. Snake. Jay Moore. I do like Jay Moore too. So that's the guy.
Who's that?
That's the communication, the former
Greg Tito.
Greg Tito. Yeah. Well, there we have it. That's let's see what's next here. All right. I think we can put a pin, or we can put the AI talk then aside. Unless, if you guys still want to talk about it in the chat, let me know. We'll put it up. But really, I don't know what else there is to say. They're using it. They'd be dumb not to from a management perspective, because they have to realize these last source books and adventures they've done have not sold well for 5th edition. And they probably know that there's just a lot of euphoria. Well, I would call it muted euphoria for the new books. But that's going to wear off pretty quick. And then they realize, like, holy shit, we got rid of Mike Merle's, pretty much the only talented guy we had here left. I mean, what do you get? Mackenzie DeArmas is going to be the author of, the next big D&D adventure. Mackenzie DeArmas is going to write something like Barrow Maze from like Greg Gillespie. Give me a fucking break. So they know, like, well, let's take our chances with AI. And given that, I don't blame them. Of course, they could hire people other than Mackenzie DeArmas.
Thank you. I just lost it in our thing. Cold War Tuesday answered my question. Thank you. Critical Role was Pathfinder until it went to Geeks on Sundry.
Yeah. Yeah, they're 5th edition. And then they're, like I said, they're working on their own. Guys, somebody tell me, what is the name of their new game for Critical Role? It's so bad. It's just an awful game. It's
called Hot Sauce on a Taco.
Might as well. At least it would have some rudimentary interest factor. Daggerheart.
Thank you.
Greth Mike. Thank you. Daggerheart. Yep.
Marvelous Mr. Mean. Oh, man, we got it.
Yeah,
yep. Holy cow.
Snake, everybody. All right. Now we're going to move on here.
He's answering a question from a half hour ago.
So as we know, a couple weeks ago, we made peace. We extended the olive branch to Jeffro.
He wasn't too shabby. He wasn't too shabby.
People seem to like, look, a few people said, I'm glad you sat down with him. I don't like him, or, personally, he's really abrasive. More abrasive on Twitter, I think. There were a few parts in the interview where he was a little, let's just say straight to the point. But look, that's just the kind of guy I think Jeffro is. Like, that's kind of his brand. But honestly, I think I prove you can have a pretty good conversation with him, even if, maybe you don't agree on a lot, on everything.
That night, I said, I think that we have a lot more in common with him than we expected.
Yeah. So that kind of tipped off what is, kind of my now official policy. Like, I'm just going to talk with everybody, and I'm going to try to get along with everyone. And I understand if that doesn't work, and so be it. So there is still some bad blood between Jeffro and the Bro SR and Griffith Morgan. And I should say, like I said, I don't mind Jeffro. I kind of like Jeffro now. I like Basic Expert. I like Griff. And some people might not like Griff, after, the interview with Jeffro. I think these are all flawed people, but, look, so am I.
If it was a house party, it would be one of those ones where, like, they all showed up, but you just had to keep them in separate rooms.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, you got to try to... It takes work. It's going to take work to
be like
make
when
everything...
Zach Morris on Saved by the Bell's dating two girls at the same time.
Yes. Or Three's Company, yeah. So what I'm going to do, though, is because I'm going to just try to get along with everybody, I'm not going to be afraid to report on drama. Because some of you guys aren't on Twitter, so I'm just going to report on it, and you kind of like the old Fox News thing. We report, you decide. So I saw this, and this is from our friend Harmony. And I guess you wouldn't call her like Bro SR, but she kind of agrees with a lot of those guys on their game style. So she came out with this. Go ahead. You can put that. Ooh, James. You like Taco Bell. Yeah.
I'm a Moe's man.
Yeah.
And then Chipotle.
I guess I'd give it to Moe's first and then Taco Bell.
There's a place in town here called El Amigo Taqueria. And it is...
Is that the gas station one?
No, it's not.
Is that the truck?
It's the one up at the entrance to our local mall.
Okay.
Anyway, I wrote a review for them on Reddit. Man, it blew up. I got a lot of likes.
Go throw Edgelord up. Thank you, James. Good to see you here, buddy. Welcome to Defender, says the Edgelord.
Yep. Chris Miller says, welcome to Moe's.
Welcome to Moe's. Apparently there's something called Del Taco, which everybody likes.
It's big in other cities. We don't have one.
So I think it's more like a West Coast thing, maybe. I think Overkill Joe is from our area, so I think he knows. Yeah. El Amigos, yeah. So Harmony says this, how dare someone, I just read this out of the blue and I was like, huh? How dare someone give Dave Wesley, remember when we talked about Dave Wesley is the creator of the Bronstein game. How dare someone give Dave Wesley's email to Harmony, who has recently been popularizing his style of gaming, so that she may send a single email asking to have a conversation on or off stream. If you want to talk to Wesley, the only proper way to do it is through Griff. That's basically what I said out loud. Involves Griff and the Bro SR. Unscripted Unchained. Good to see you. Good to see you here, my friend. How are you doing? So I looked a little further. This is Secrets of Blackmore's Griff. This is regardless of what you think about Griff, even the Bro SR guys would tell you this. You need to watch Secrets of Blackmore if you're interested in the history of gaming. You have to do it. I go on I think Vimeo maybe. That's the best way to do it. I think it's on Amazon too, but I guess they get a better cut if it's on Vimeo. People sharing personal info. So this might have been what prompted Harmony's tweet. I don't understand it. If someone contacts me and says, hey, I need to speak to so-and-so and can I get a hold of them? Can I get their info from you? I will say I'll talk to them and see if they want to be contacted or not. It's bad form to give out someone's email, phone, or address. So a few days ago, I call up my buddy Dave Wesley. It turns out someone there is handing around his contact info. What are you thinking? It kind of goes on from here. I don't want to, get into it. Like I said, I'm not, this is just, Griff is very protective of the Blackmore bunch because he spent so much time with them, I think, doing Secrets of Blackmore. So he was kind of chafing that somebody was trying to contact Dave Wesley. Then it kind of fell, and then I read another tweet, and then it kind of made sense. And it's the basic expert, John. I'm blocked by Griff, but apparently he's miffed. I sent Mr. Wesley, these are all John's games, basic expert, Cowpunchers, Macwaheedle, Atomic Punk, and White Box, along with a handwritten letter. No, I didn't expect him to read them all and reply. They were simply gifts to someone as a thanks who contributed to the hobby in the early days and made what I do now possible. To correct Griff, the only person handing out Mr. Wesley's contact info is Mr. Wesley himself in the public comment section of his gaming blogs as far back as 2008. There we go.
We got They Vans going to a NorCal Ren Fair. Pirate theme.
Ooh, pirate theme. Nice.
Edgelord just hit you up.
Be Switzerland. Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Yep.
Yeah. But I don't mind reporting on it. My take is...
As the tensions are getting high at this, hot and heavy at this party, you're just like, hey, this is good dip.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
What is that? Is
Guys,
that cilantro in there? What is that?
Can we turn the game on, guys? Let's watch. So, look, I do take John at his word that he only had the best intentions. By sending his stuff to Dave Wesley, he no reason to not think he wasn't a fan. Now look, maybe Dave Wesley did or didn't want to be contacted, but my opinion on that is always like, because I get sent stuff from time to time, like sometimes via email, and sometimes like physical stuff. Now the physical stuff, in my case, I'm always anxious for, but maybe when I'm 80 some years old, I won't be quite as anxious. So I'll just be like, get this away from me. But I don't think you can disparage John's intentions. And I do understand Griff, being protective, but this kind of gets all to the fact that, in the words of Rodney King, can't we all just get along? Let's all try to get along a little bit. This is all getting tedious unless the antagonists in this drama are willing to throw down. Everyone just needs to take a pill and drop it, says Doc Flamingo, $5. Yeah, I kind of agree, but I'm also, as part of this newfound neutrality, I'm not going to tell other people what to do. I may give them advice if they are kind of asking, especially privately. Just be like, hey, let it go. Here's what my advice would be. A, let it go, and B, try to stop trolling, everything. That's all I'd say. I don't know. But you guys, do you. I'll report on the drama if there is any. And I will offer myself up if you guys want to talk about it with an impartial moderator. I think you guys know by now I can be impartial. Even if I talk to, certain parties off to the side, I'll act as moderator if you guys ever want to come on.
I think people respect that.
Well, it comes with age, I think, a little bit. I'm not quite as invested.
From a sincere place, I think.
Well, yeah, it is. Yes, and I do want your firstborn, Jeff. Just yours, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not going to say I don't get anything out of it. Look, let's say if Griff and Jeffro, I had hosted them, and they'll probably get a fair number of people watching, and that's more eyeballs on my channel. So, it's not completely.
Hopefully more likes than the 48 we're currently sitting on. Come on, chat.
Guys, come on now. So there we go. That's the drama I promised.
That's only 48 more than I have, and I'm not running a show tonight.
Did you hear about those Israeli attacks with the pagers?
Yes, I did.
God, that is insane. I'm not gonna. This isn't gonna be like Israel versus.
There was some misinformation
Hezbollah.
where I was yesterday.
Oh yeah.
They said that no one died and women and children weren't hurt. Well, a 9-year-old girl did die, and at the time there was 9 deaths. And I don't know if that toll went up because there was.
I think I saw that. Critical. Yeah. I was just remarking because a couple weeks ago we talked about like spy games, like that Spycraft game. What they did would have fit like perfectly. In Spycraft. Are you part of the drama? James, you are specifically no drama. Unless it comes to
Marvelous
Condor.
Mr. Mean, is this accurate? They did it with radios today?
Oh, did they do? Holy shit. Do not piss off the Mossad. Look, whether you like them or not, just don't get on the wrong side of the Mossad. Those guys are... those guys are badasses. So anyway, yeah, that was just crazy, all that stuff. Yeah, no James, no drama on you.
Marvelous Mr. Mean said, yes, it did happen today with radios.
Well, it's a good way to take a society back to the pre, I don't want to say the pre-internet day, but pre-smartphone days. Like I think I posted on Twitter, maybe we'll all just go back to rotary phones or push-button phones on the wall. Would that be such a bad thing?
That reminds me of that that interaction between Chris Rock and Joe Pesci in Lethal Weapon 4. Yeah, and you got a call. 9, 8. Oh, I dialed the wrong number. Hang up. Start it all again.
Mystery Science Theater, I remember in some old movie they were watching, they're like, how many minutes of padding has rotary phones like added to like all these old bad movies that just needed to pad out the time? So they have one of the characters just dial a number.
Mm-hmm.
I tell you, there's a good portion of, kids. I mean, they may kind of know what you're talking about with like a rotary phone, but
no clue.
But they wouldn't.
A rotary? No. They know sometimes my mom, their grandma, still has a touch tone landline.
Which,
They
to
know
be
what
fair,
that-
is pretty easy.
Right.
I mean,
They
like
know
you're
what
looking at it like,
they know
oh,
what that is.
Yeah,
but
that's a
as
number
far as
pad.
for a rotary phone, ugh.
Yeah, they'd need a little instruction. Like, yeah, you have to take the dial all the way to the frickin' end. That would be a good video, watching like Zoomers interact with a rotary phone. All right. So I'm gonna before we get to the actual Jake, video on me. I did get this at the last minute from Ironcaster. So I don't know if Ironcaster, if you're out there, thank you very much, buddy. He said, Double D, you're gonna like this guy. Maybe he's the new Garibay, maybe not, but it's pretty funny. And I'm like, okay. So I watched the first minute, and there was a point when I laughed out loud, and I said, no more. We'll leave it here. So we'll watch this guy a little bit first, and then we'll go to actual Jake. So we're watching actual Jake because, look, I give as good as I get, right? So, we playfully make fun of Scott Garibay. Hopefully we'll playfully make fun of this guy. I would say it's, for the most part, it's not malicious. We do kind of chuckle at him, but I don't certainly never wish any ill will towards Scott or this guy here. But it could be fun to watch, couldn't it? Let's watch. His name is Harmon Smith.
I wake up today, check my phone, and what do I see? I see a bunch of YouTubers talking about how I'm done with D&D, I'm done with Wizards of the Coast, I'm done with these art books, I'm done with the price gouging, I'm done with woke stuff in my hobby, right? There were a lot of people like this, Clownfish TV, Happy Console Gamer, Sean Malmstrom, all these people coming out.
He squints like Gilbert Gottfried when he reads.
He does.
And also, is that the door to his outside that close to his computer?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Yeah, must...
Anybody can just peek through his window and see what he's watching. Here's that $2 one, buddy.
Disco. We will watch as Crom watches. Yes, there you go. You guys are you're the eyes of Crom here. Yeah.
But watch him squint. He really does look like Gilbert Gottfried.
Yeah, no, I get it. This could be a little... We'll keep going.
In one voice saying, D&D sucks, and I'm never, ever going to support it again. Barely even 1 year after the release of Baldur's Gate 3, the game of the year for 2023, people are...
Bless you. Bless you. Bless you. Hat trick.
People are...
That was the point where I said we're in. The fact that he left 3 sneezes in a video, not a live stream, but a video he could have very easily edited out. Well, we got a half of a nose pick, and then three sneezes. I'm like, all right, I'm picking up what he's putting down, at least temporarily here.
Making these statements that they're not happy with Wizards of the Coast. They're not happy with the current state of D&D. They're not happy with the game anymore, and they're not really interested in playing it, right? It's gotten so bad, people are pointing to alternatives now, right? D&D is, and has been for quite some time, been on the decline. Game sales are down, art book sales are down. Baldur's Gate 3 sales were not as impressive as initially.
It's got kind of a Norm Macdonald kind of a vibe going on to it. Like you said, Gilbert Gottfried. Mm-hmm. Physically, I'm getting kind of a Norm Macdonald.
We're getting some comments that this might be a basement or a garage.
Oh yeah, look at those
electrical things.
Yeah, the electrical things. Yeah. That could very well be. Yeah.
We got Marvelous Mr. Mean hit you up. See
I bet the door leads to his parents' backyard. Maybe. We shall see, Marvelous Mr. Mean. Thank you anyway.
Right? I talked about all this before, but what it all amounts to is that Wizards of the Coast is losing relevancy. Even after one of the biggest shill campaigns I've ever seen in my life, to try and force Baldur's Gate 3 into relevancy, right?
Baldur's Gate.
His hair looks like the Lollipop Guild.
A little bit, yeah. He's got a little tuft, I think they would call it. I got a feeling where
I need it flat in the back and real puffy in the front.
Got a feeling kind of like Condor. You know, I probably agree with a lot of his points. But just he's kind of entertaining me so far. I like how he calls it Baldo's Gate. That is a direct reference to Nick Rekieta, Mr. Baldo. That's a point in his favor. 1 point for Gryffindor.
Even after that, even after robbing Super Mario Bros. Wonder of the Game of the Year award, you know, even after like downplaying Tears of the Kingdom, you know, even after like the religion.
I thought we were gonna get another sneeze there.
Sniffle.
He sniffed it.
He's shaking up his juice or whatever that is.
Just
his
worship
ginger root. I don't know.
Of game journalists who really, really wanted to get fucked by that bear. The game,
it's an Arizona
the
iced
brand
tea.
as a whole is on the decline. No different than Star Wars, no different than Star Trek, no different than Marvel, right? D&D, the game that people have been desperately trying to pretend was the progenitor of fantasy. Like, D&D is on the way out, and it couldn't have happened to a more deserving franchise, right? D&D, for the longest time, has been used to weaponize the youth against Christians. It's been used to push weird agendas. You know, the sort of people who play D&D are just the most insane.
Needs some chicken soup.
I was gonna say, so far I'm not disagreeing with anything he said. It's just his delivery is pretty comical. But yeah, this guy is laboring under he's either got the coof or just a really bad cold.
Delusional, just out of touch with reality people imaginable. And to see their favorite game start to fall by the wayside.
Is that a Super Mario hat on the hat rack? What is that?
Like a hunter's cap, right?
Yeah, but what's on the front? They have, like, there's an emblem on the front.
Oh wow. That's beyond my supervision. A Super Mario hunter's cap, that would kind of be infitting with his milieu. Disco Barbarian, $5. I feel like if this clown and Scott met, the universe would collapse on itself. I don't want to call him a clown just yet. Let's just call him entertaining. Harmon's entertaining.
So far we like it.
So
yeah,
far.
people are saying it's a Mario hat.
He was just talking about Mario Wonder. Oh, okay, Patrick. Yeah, there you go. That is a Mario. Okay, thank you guys. Yeah. And of course, Crazy Mouse always with the eagle eye. Oh, is Ironcaster in here? Yeah, there he is. Yeah, it's a Mario hat. Yep.
Because of their catering to this audience, it's very satisfying to see, right? People are moving past D&D. They're realizing it's not that great, that it's not that impressive, that it did not invent fantasy or whatever that fanboys are trying to pretend it's accomplished. Like, D&D is not and never has been all that big of a deal, right? Zelda has been bigger. You know, Tolkien has been
don't know if I'd agree with him here. I'm not I don't know about that. I mean, it's not as big as Zelda, of course, but him saying D&D's never been big? I don't know. Harmon, we have our first respectful disagreement, sir.
Established as a fantasy classic, right? You have, like, you know, all-time myths, you know, like the King Arthur mythos. And D&D rips all of that off, right? It tries presenting itself as, like, the culmination of all fantasy, but the reality is D&D is just a knockoff pastiche product made for and sold to mediocre people who cannot appreciate real, legitimate fantasy and cannot create their own. Right?
That's a pastiche of what? It was literally the first RPG.
Mercurius.
Mercurius. Good to see you here, my friend. 5 memberships.
Thank you.
It's much appreciated, guys. Thank you. Guys on the super chats, the gifts of memberships. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. Yeah, I think he's losing the plot. As they say across the pond, Crazy Mouse, he's losing the plot.
Yeah.
He lost the plot. it's like at first I was like, oh, well, maybe he just hates 5e or whatever. And I'm like, well, hey, maybe. But I think this guy is just kind of a, I think Ironcaster said he doesn't normally do a lot of D&D videos. It's like sometimes he does like 40K videos.
Jeff from Denkar.
Maybe he thinks it's a pastiche of 40K. Jeff from $2 Canadian. Is he referring to 5e D? That's what I'm wondering. If he was doing it with 5e, Jeff from, maybe I'd have a little bit. He'd have a little more truck with me.
Check this out.
Gotta go, guys. Wife and I are at Disney World.
Oh my gosh.
Chris Miller is spending part of your Disney World vacation with us. Thank you so much.
Have a good time.
Yep.
Say hi to Snow White.
That's right.
I love her.
When Mrs. D and I went on our honeymoon, they had a very nice aerial sitting out front of like it was one of those places where you get your picture taken with, some of the like characters and all that. She was yawning, and then like you could hear her boss, like he was either walking by or close by. He's like, "Mermaids don't yawn."
Oh boy. Oh man.
I'll remember that to the day I die. Very funny. All right, Harmon, come on. Let me
reel it back in.
Yeah, let me let's hope you get reeled back in here, Harmon.
Right?
Let's go.
D&D is for losers, and it always has been. And to see if
he's picking. I mean, I don't doubt he's laboring, but he's also doing a little bit of bit mining there.
people like flailing around, people like Spoonie who like name their dogs after like D&D concepts, like Thaco. What? Thaco.
So he hates D&D in general. Okay. All right. Now the gloves can come off just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Really gonna after poor Oreo died in the most unfortunate way imaginable. Spoonie is gonna name his replacement Thaco. Doesn't that really just show you just how warped and twisted these people actually are, right? When you actually look at what these people do, how they
warped and twisted just for naming your dog over something in D&D. I'm not sure I'd go that far. Let's put that up by Ironcaster here. Yep. Thank you again, by the way, Ironcaster. You guys can thank him for this. He's a video game guy that only cares about D&D because of Baldur's Gate, taking away attention from a Zelda game last year.
Thank you.
There we go. There's your context. So he is kind of Garibay-like. I could see him being my son. Oh, is it really, Jeff? Is that true? Mad props if it is.
How they obsess
He's
over
holding a sneeze.
He is. You might as well do it. You did it 3 times in a row. It's not like he's going to edit it out.
Past D&D campaigns, how they complain about player stereotypes, how they try and apply real world concepts to fantasy, right? How they try to pretend orcs are black people or any of the weird the weird subculture things that have come out over the years.
See, he's throwing out the baby with the bathwater here. It's like he gets a point, talking about, the black people being orcs, that's a good point, for how crazy it is. But you can just tell to him, because he's not probably a natural gamer, he's probably just a complete, absolute video gamer. He just thinks it's all one thing. He doesn't realize that there's kind of a schism, like a Martin Luther type schism in
Pundit
gaming.
just showed up. He said, "Who is this guy?" I just got on for a bit.
Harmon Smith, Pundit, good to see you here. It's just somebody that Ironcaster sent my way.
The Bizarro Garibay.
Yes. Or long lost brother. I don't know.
Delusional way in which they tried to downplay The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom in favor of Baldur's Gate 3. Right.
Oh, he is mad about that. You're right, Ironcaster.
That was the most insane thing ever. Right. We've already seen over the past year that Baldur's Gate 3 has completely faded from the public consciousness. Right. We all know about the bot.
Yeah. He's not angry. Like Garibay, sometimes you could tell he's got a seething undercurrent at times, but he does a good job most of the time, just kind of sitting on that, so to speak. Disco Barbarian $5. I hope that Jeff's son is Big B, because everything that belonged to him would sound like a spell. Big B's bike, Big B's homework, Big B's wife. Yeah.
Jeff said it's not. He did not name his son Bigby, and now he feels bad that he brought it up.
That's a good one. That's a good rib. That's a good rib, Jeff. Hey, if any of you have kids, grandkids coming along, put the bug in the ear. Big B, not so bad.
We all know about how the sales numbers were faked. We all know like the critics were bought and paid for, that Jeff Keighley is a complete shill. Like, just look at how he's handling the PS5 Pro reveal, right? Like, everybody's clowning on him for like addressing the very obvious fact that he's shilling a product by being excited for the PS5 Pro. But like, you know, the same people failed to acknowledge the reality that he was doing the exact same thing for Baldur's Gate 3, right? The CRPG genre is not something by its nature that could compete with like any Nintendo game. It is a niche thing, right? Baldur's Gate 3 only sold itself by being overly sexualized and by being overly woke to appease game journals. Like, when you take those two things away from it, it really, really, really has nothing going for it.
Epiphany time. This is why you guys pay me all that money. This is what's wrong with Wizards of the Coast and how they've treated the brand. Because now people associate these things. This guy apparently is not like a D&D player, but he immediately is associating D&D with all of this stuff. Oh, D&D is woke. D&D is orcs or black people. D&D is, you know, having sex with a bear, you know, as a cleric. All this bad stuff is just proof at how badly Wizards of the Coast has sullied the D&D brand. This guy doesn't even like know that, you know, maybe there was once a time when that stuff wasn't true. That's how complete they have destroyed it.
And I think history, well, actually, right now, this isn't even a really historically thing. Like, right now, the fact that like Baldur's Gate 3 has had no real staying power really demonstrates a lot about how these people, quote unquote, people, right? These subhumans, they'll just
they call them subhumans. This guy's got a little.
He's got a little vinegar in his piss.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Come on to like, they'll get excited for a product, you know, talk about it incessantly, like it's the best thing ever, and then like a year later they'll move on to like, you know, other branded products, you know, other licensed games, you know, Space Marine 2 and, you know, Astrobot, I think are the two big things now. Actually, no, like both of them have fallen off already. You know, they're going through the same process that like Baldur's Gate 3 did, where like it has that like period.
So I think he like, it's like he's on our side, but for the wrong reasons, you know, it's like, I think we've seen enough. But if you guys want to, please go over to Harmon's channel. He looks like he has 1.7. It looks like he's monetized. Kind of give him a sub. See what he's about. See if this is just a little bit of craziness, or you know, maybe he's got a little bit more. I'll check him out too. I think I subbed to him as well. So maybe we can watch some Harmon videos from time to time if he delves into the D&D realm. Jeff from $5 Canadian. The Baldur's Gate 3 win must have ruined his Link Twink fantasies. 10-1, he's got Princess Zelda and a mason jar in his basement. Yeah, very descriptive. I like it though. I like it, Jeffrem. Like it very much. Oh man, that's not who we're listening to. I'm not even gonna give him a little shout out. Let's well, I'll tell you what, let's set this up a little bit. There's a YouTuber. Actually, I think he's more like a Twitch streamer, and then his OnlyFans girlfriend cuts his videos for him, who has taken an interest in me. Now, longtime listeners of the show will remember Actual Jake.
Cornholio,
the great Cornholio. There he is.
Oh boy.
Yeah. one of the lazy. Imagine being like I like doing this, as I've said before. It's just a hobby. Who knows what will happen in the future, but I couldn't imagine spending my prime earning years like this guy is being a streamer. I think he had a lot more popularity when he was with his partner. First Hugo, and then Hugo transitioned into Hannah. So he was actually big. They were like militant atheists on YouTube. Oh my God, how annoying they must both have been. Patrick Demo, $5 in Sam Jackson's voice. Say Baldur's Gate one more time. I dare you. Double dare you, mother bleep. Yeah, classic line. Thank you, Patrick. Yeah, so this guy, now normally his targets are really like bigger YouTubers, so I guess I should be flattered. Because he'll take on like Jeremy from The Quartering, like Benny Johnson, David Rubin, all these like mainstream conservatives, and then there's little old me showing up like five.
What I do?
Yeah, what I do? 5 or 6 times in his in his feed. I don't know if I just got on.
And you, Lieutenant Weinberg, what I do in that courtroom scene in A Few Good Men.
A Few Good Men, yeah. Yeah, this guy's a little salty about me. So, hey, like I say, what's good for the goose is what's good for the gander. If I can dish it out, I should be able to take it. Let's see. I bet they're going to say I'm divorced. What do you think, Crazy Mouse?
Well,
over under on that?
There was that rumor before.
Yeah. Actual joke.
So we're back to this Dungeons and Dragons boomer guy. He's just
Gen X, you retard. Look at that hairline of his. This guy is in his 30s. And he's the kind that'll make fun of like, oh, look, he's a bald boomer. This guy smokes pot. He's really living the life. He's living off of like super chats.
Well, I always just remember this as the guy that had that interest in like, didn't he put up a poll about
well, yeah, we'll get into that. Yeah, I have that in the hopper.
I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't either. Yeah, we'll get into that. I'm just saving it. Now, this is a video I wouldn't have expected him to like EFAP. This was just my Castles and Crusades video, which is basically, now look, I had to throw a little something in the title, kind of like, hey, D&D's awful now. Here's a better game, because you do have to get some eyeballs on it. But generally speaking, I didn't take the whole video and just tear apart D&D. It was just all stuff I liked about Castles and Crusades, stuff that we like, in general in our group. So this was an odd one. I don't know if he's getting desperate because there's better videos of mine you could probably use, Jake, but let's continue.
He's just, there's something about him. There's something about him. He's a particular kind of whiny. So this is the D&D.
Whiny? Crazy Mouse,
That's
known
tough talk for a dude with a 5 head.
That's right.
Thank you, Patrick.
You've known me for how long? Would you describe me as whiny?
I do not think that you are whiny. That is not a word I would use to describe you.
I would more call myself stoic, Jake. Not whiny. Tough talk for a dude with a. Thank you so much, Patrick. Yeah. Something about me just rubs him the wrong way.
Boomer, he is a guy who sucks. He just sucks every time.
Whoa, they pay you for that kind of analysis, do they, Jake? Oh, yeah. I'm trying to read the chat too. Oh no, this effing guy. He'd probably get along with Bill. I don't know who Bill is. State flag looking at. Well, I don't know what these things mean. My brand. I don't know what that means.
D&D is now awful. 7 reasons this game is better. Is it something that you have financial incentive to want or something? Also, I'm thinking about the MCDM RPG for the next time around. But as you can see, I have lots of D&D stuff. You don't need to see that.
So he's an MCDM simp too. Which one day I should do a video on all the horrible people that the MCDM game attracts. Like, remember the guy? I don't know if you were here, Crazy Mouse. The guy who said he would buy Matt Colville's used toilet paper. Do you remember that guy?
Gracious.
Yeah, he was just a YouTuber. Yeah, and we'll see what kind of a guy Jake is. I'll just remind you playfully.
The PHB just got. I like to stay on the. Old page 150 or thereabouts. It's really handy to know that page 149 of the PHB, or 150 on PDF, or 150 here.
Yeah, speaking of PDF, Jake, you might be a PDF. Do you know what PDF is short for?
I do.
Crazy Mouse? Okay, there you go. So I'm sure the chat mostly knows. Actual Joke, Magnificent Devil. Yeah, that's kind of my side name for him. Riveting content here. I can tell you went into this with a plan, Jake.
Is such a handy spot to be able to go to when you're in any town ever. D&D has its flaws, but did you know that, first of all, you don't have to buy any of the products. You can just get them. You know what I'm saying? Second of all...
Are you advocating for piracy, Jake? That might be a violation of terms of service. Don't worry, though. I'm not that kind of guy. I don't care about that stuff. You can make fun of me all you want. This is good business. Disco Barbarian, $2. Guys like this make me pray for the apocalypse. Yeah, not quite there yet. He's just, guys like this are just kind of sad, actually. Like you have to understand, he's living like in the middle of nowhere with an OnlyFans woman. Like his girl is an OnlyFans girl.
Which sometimes that has like that stigma of like, oh, she's hot.
She's not. Yeah, and it's not just like, oh, I'm picking on. Like I found out she's the one who like cuts up his. That's another thing. This guy's a full-time streamer. He can't even be bothered to cut up these videos because this comes from a larger live stream. Like I'm just a portion, I guess, of his stream for this night. But then his chick will cut these and make a video on YouTube about me. So she's the one doing all the work, and then she has to go hustle her ass on OnlyFans. And this lazy ass just eats and smokes pot and streams and probably plays video games, I'm sure. I think he does like video gaming. That's all he does. Oh, and he plays a little D&D too. If any of you guys have ever heard or seen of a video of him doing like a live play on D&D, I'd like to see that. I'd like to see what he's got.
Did you get this one?
No, go ahead though. Asterion. Moloch, $2. Holy F. His voice deals psychic damage. Yeah. What you looking for?
His baseball jersey.
I follow him on Twitter. I think he's a Detroit guy. I know he likes the Lions, which Crazy Mouse kind of likes the Lions too.
Caspera? I'm trying to read what that says.
I don't know.
Caspera, number 24, maybe for the Tigers. I don't know. I don't know who that is.
Yeah, we should know. They're our major league affiliate, but go ahead. Disco wants to be heard tonight, and he's willing to pay. Thank you, $5. He reminds me of a commie I lived with for a while that liked to eat jugs of PB peanut butter while watching WWE in his underwear. Ugh. Was his name Puck?
Puck and Pedro. Are you Pedro?
Yeah, were you roommates with Puck? Thank you, Disco.
It all happens in your mind. Change the rules you don't like. If you want you just can't stand any woke stuff, well, man, don't put woke stuff in it, You can be inventive.
That's fair. That's fair, but at a certain point, there's not much left. I mean, it's just worn to a nub. There's nothing beyond the woke stuff anymore.
You could be a creative guy. You could sail the high seas and not purchase another Wizards item ever again, and I don't give a shit. Just play.
See, I wouldn't do that, Jake.
You know who he kind of looks like?
Who?
And I like the actor. He looks like the guy that played Samwell Tarly in Game of Thrones.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, take the glasses off him. Yeah. I could see that. Yeah, good old Samwell. I think he's about as big as Samwell. Although it looks like he lost a little bit of weight over time. I like how he has to... Jake, I don't have to pirate my books. I'm not a depressed Twitch streamer. I have a 9 to 5 that pays okay.
And wait, and so does Mrs. D.
Yeah, and so does, this is going to shock you. So does my wife. Last I looked, we're still married. I don't know. Maybe she's doing things behind my back. I don't know. But I asked her last night.
Still together.
I said, we're going to talk about this guy. Are we still married? She chuckled and said, yeah, I think so.
She chuckled and said, for now.
Yes.
Play the game you want to play, man.
For now.
It's weird that you whine about this all the time.
An option for you. I might have an option for you.
Love this place.
Say something.
I might have an option for you. That started quick.
I hope you guys are. It's called a stinger, you dummy. If you put a little effort into your videos, you might know what it is. He looks like a great value, Louis C.K. Yeah, the generic. That's giving him way too much credit. He does not have that quick of a wit. No, sir. I mean, you saw how he fumbled his way through the intro. I mean, look, he's just trying to fill time. I mean, he does this 4 nights a week, 5 nights a week, maybe. I don't know.
There's a Lions thing, and like over here, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lion right there. Football, baseball with like.
Yeah, he was pretty. Like I followed him a little bit on Twitter. Just after a while, he's just.
Are those popcorn kernels? Is that what those are supposed to be?
Yeah, little baby corn on the cobs. I think corn means PORN.
Yes.
I think he's such a degenerate. Well, look, he's shacked up with like an OnlyFans chick, so he is a degenerate. We'll see what a degenerate is. I'll remind you guys what he is.
Jarring.
All doing well today. Wizards of the Coast, in a long series of missteps, may have, stepped in it again. This time it looks like they're updating everyone's rules information on D&D Beyond to their new edition of the game.
They were going to do this, and then they stopped doing it, which is a very
True.
good move. It actually might be in my D&D server.
True, but you can't blame me, Jake. I didn't know that at the time.
This tweet right here. Wow. Great work, X. I mean, Twitter. Last week we released a change log detailing... Hey, dude Ledoux. I'm talking here. I'm just kidding. Thank you for the 21 months. Last week we released a change log detailing how players would experience the 2024 core rulebooks in D&D Beyond. We heard your feedback loud and clear. Thank you for speaking up. Players who only have access to the 2014 Players Handbook will maintain their character options, spells, and magical options.
We get it. Stop beating the dead horse. They backtracked, like they backtrack on everything when they float something stupid.
Happening is
you don't have to read every bit of it.
It's been 10 years since the PHB came out. This document right here, not this one. This one right here. The Player's Handbook, the PHB. Anyway, in D&D Beyond, which is it's like your digital character sheet and also your books and stuff, which I don't use, but some of my players do. They were automatically switching everything over to the 2024 PHB, which I guess if you play D&D, it might be obvious. I mean, if you have a game that's been playing since you started the 2014 PHB.
Look at those small hands. Do you see how small his hands were?
Yeah, they look like those baby hand commercials.
Yeah, oh my Lord. Jake, how big are your hands? Don't ever show those on camera again. That's humiliating, my friend.
PHB, which everybody did.
Wow. That's like the Finger Lakes singer. What's her name on Saturday Night Live?
Oh,
you know the one. You know the skit I'm talking about.
Yep.
Because they just started 2024
with their sisters.
Yes, the Lawrence Welk singers. Yeah.
PHB, obviously, right? Then it would erase your old character and replace it with.
Ooh, David Brown says you're mediocre D&D. Do we have our first invader? David.
Perhaps. Hi,
David. Hi, David.
David, do us a favor. Hit that like and subscribe.
Yeah, go ahead. You can subscribe. I'm mediocre. Maybe he's just here having fun. I don't know. Maybe he's on
the new PHB stuff, which did suck, but I mean, like, they immediately changed that.
Mediocre. All right.
So I don't really care about Wizards or like them, by the way. I don't give a shit. I mean, don't buy their stuff. I agree.
But you play D&D. Well, like, I hate this sort of like, who cares, whatever, but don't get so blah, blah, blah. It's like, all right, you shouldn't be obsessed, with things, but it's okay to have a little passion in your life. I know it's hard to do when the first thing you do when you wake up is probably smoke weed, smoke a big blunt, that everything's just, it's all copacetic, bro.
Hey, man.
Hey, man. It's like, all right, so you either play the effing game and like it or you don't. And if you don't, find another game. That's what we do. That's what I talk about on my RPG sort of centric channel. Whether you're updating to that edition or not. Many of us have tried telling you that this company does not care about you. They hate
Pathfinder's so crunchy and unbalanced. Paizo makes cool stuff, but it's not good for game design, in my opinion. D&D, like Wizards makes closer game design decisions. I'm looking forward to Matt Colville's MCDM RPG project, and hoping that has more tight situation. I'm always looking to refine and tweak the systems anyway, and I homebrew a lot of the stuff, but
hate their core fan base.
He's a home brewer.
They are going all in on a digital future, banking on microtransactions, much like the hated Madden football franchise. Now, if you've had enough and are willing to switch, there's lots of good options out there. Some I have talked about at length before, but I have so far not talked about the game that my group actually switched to when we had finally had enough of 5th edition. And that game is Castles and Crusades by Troll-Lord Games. This game may be the 5e alternative that frustrated DMs and... Great commentary there, Jake.
That was a period or a comma?
Yeah, I was gonna say. Don't worry, I will never copyright strike anybody as long as I live. But good Lord, you're rivaling Sniper Wolf here with your idiotic commentary. Troll Lord, bro's gonna talk about Troll Lord. Let the video play for 5 more minutes. I need to watch some Garibay to get back the IQ I just lost watching actual cucks. Right there with you, Patrick. Right there with you. Board players may be searching for. The reason I didn't want to pump out a video immediately after we switched was because I wanted to get some practical experience behind the screen before I opined on it.
Now, I haven't tried 2nd edition Pathfinder.
Bill, that's the guy that See you, Pundit. Thanks for stopping by. Have a good one, brother.
It's just got so many little fucking things. I haven't tried Pathfinder 2. I'm too deep into the 5th edition campaign we're running now to switch that.
That's fine. Now that I have, for somebody who says just live and let live, bro, why are you concerned about what we're playing? Why are you concerned that I don't happen to like 5th edition now? It's not that I hate it. It's just it's not the game for me anymore. I know why. It's content, and I do understand that, and that's fine. And I got no problem with that.
Before you start it up again.
Yeah, but I hope you understand, Jake, that occasionally we'll do this to you too. You should thank him for his quote unquote honest coverage of you, Double D. I see look into getting Jake a pager from Lebanon. I heard they're on sale right now. No comment there. No comment. We wouldn't want any harm to come to anybody. Jake is a doofus, but he's a harmless doofus as far as I can tell. Over a year in the DM's chair.
Yeah, it was 3.5. It was basically 3.5. They had a little 4E in it though. They had a little bit of 4E in it. Pathfinder, it's whatever.
With this game, I can tell you the 7
nonsensical
things that
interjections.
I like about it.
I don't like the character
Plus
sheets
one
for
thing
Pathfinder either.
I would and did change in it. So without further ado, let's get started.
This guy has no fucking charisma. God.
Oh, come
You have
on
some,
now.
Jimmy
I got a
Christmas,
little.
Yeah. You don't have a 3.
Yeah, come on. I mean, I'm not married to an OnlyFans chick, if that's what you're asking. I mean, no charisma. I got a tiny bit, Jake. Tiny bit. Well, the first thing I love about Castles and Crusades, which
sped them up.
You'll hear me shorten to CNC at times, by the way, actually comes
CNC. You're gonna shorten this to CNC? Okay.
From my,
I think I missed the humor.
Yeah, was that supposed to be funny, Jake?
Yeah.
Okay,
Don't people call it D&D?
Yeah,
I'm a little confused here.
Yeah, it's just so later on, when I say it, it's kind of like minding your P's and Q's. Wife, Mrs. D. Now, Mrs. D has been playing in my now over 29-year-old Birthright campaign since the very beginning. And she likes the scaled-down feel of CNC. To her, and I suspect many others, the game just feels a little bit more personal without the excess power bloat that 5e kind of forces on you. You kind of go from mile high in 5e to ground level in... See those hands, Jake?
crazy.
Those are quarterback hands. Those are pitcher hands. Those are wide receiver hands. Those aren't micro hands.
T-Rex hands.
Yeah, those aren't little T-Rex hands. Ooh, yeah, you really shouldn't have showed those micro hands, Jake. That's going to be another point of attack. Castles and Crusades, and that's actually not a bad thing. Fighters should be the ones fighting. Magic users should be way in the back, and thieves should be darting in and out of combat instead of standing toe-to-toe on the front lines.
The art you picked for that was so basic, bitch. It's fine if you want to play whatever game you want to play. I don't have any opinions about Castles and Crusades. I would suspect that Castles and Crusades is specifically something that is not woke, that he doesn't like, and people on his not woke list that you can play.
That's right.
It's probably problematic in some way. Play the game you want to play. I don't care.
Play the game you want to play.
In fairness, isn't that what Double D always says?
Yeah, I was going to say.
Weird. Thank you, actual Jake, for agreeing with us.
Yes.
Yep, that's cool. Jake bragged earlier that he shortened Player's Handbook to PHB.
Oh, did he really?
Don't you remember? He called it PHB.
I didn't. I wasn't looking for it, so I didn't catch it. But did he really do that?
Yeah, he called it PHB.
Oh, what a dummy!
Player's Handbook, PHB.
He's such a dummy. I mean, he's high too, but he's such a dummy.
If you can fucking make any class fit any rule, if you're creative. I mean, you don't have to use any you don't have to play D&D 5th edition as a system to play D&D or whatever. You know what I mean?
That's kind of what I'm saying, right?
Frank Destro says the chat's on your side. They like CNC.
Oh, his chat. That's why this might have blown up in his face. All right, let's continue.
It is what it is. If you want to play this, I mean, I like the idea of a lower powered.
Probably something he's got a financial investment in. If by that you mean I bought the books, do they pay me? Nope, they don't. Nobody pays me for anything. I'm not the questing beast.
Before you start it up again, hold on a second.
$5, Patrick Demo. Jake was so enamored of communism that he decided to try out Chinese foot binding on his hands.
Patrick with the
Patrick,
zinger.
man. Oh, man. Patrick, you are good people. It was great to finally meet you at Gen Con. Hey, there you go.
D&D game. Personally, I like that. I like that kind of stuff.
God, he's just rambling. Asterion Moloch. Super chat number 2 or 3, maybe. $5. Jake is a D-Gen. Absolutely. In D-Gen SEX terms. CNC means, consensual non-consent, basically. Oh, boy. Yeah, thank you very much for that. We'll get into a little bit. We won't go forever here, but we'll let it run a little bit. And then I'll show you some of Jake's more interesting tweets. Just to remind you, some of you already know, but some of you might need reminding.
I don't like to feel overpowered. Although I don't think in 5th edition. I mean, I'm a pretty good DM, I think, so it feels pretty balanced.
I'm a pretty good DM. Which they often do in 5th edition. If you aren't smart, your party could be in for a very bad day. But I also don't think that this game is out to get the PCs. Disco for $2, he probably pirated CNC. Oh, yeah, I'm sure he did. It's because he's too lazy to get a real job.
It's a pirate's life for me.
There are tactics that can be used in combat in CNC for advantages, and you're able to disengage from combat without being locked into a death struggle. In our game, one PC, my buddy Crazy Mouse's thief Linus, succumbed to a very powerful creature early on. Remember that? You getting PTSD over that,
Yeah.
Crazy Mouse?
This didn't look good.
I keep saying it was like one of those things like, all right, whoever has a problem with me, take one step forward, and you think everybody is going to join you, so you take the step forward, and everybody just stays there.
I went to help.
He went to help, and everybody stepped back. He just looks at me and goes, "This ain't good." Yeah, that was early on. Ouch. But even he would probably tell you that it was, in addition to some bad luck, also a failure in group tactics. In one of our most recent sessions,
This is boring, man.
Party's monk was
like you,
unlucky
Jake.
enough to get 2 criticals hit on him. It's like, what do you want me to do? Like sing a song
weird.
and dance?
Hold on a second. He's claiming that it's boring watching you on his live stream.
Yeah. Yeah.
And people might think he's boring. So he's boring watching a boring video.
Yeah.
Why should people continue to watch his videos?
That's a good point.
You have the power to turn it off at any point and talk about something else, but yet you still want to keep showing it.
Because he works on such a fundamental, stupid level, or he's listening to his dumb OnlyFans girlfriend, and we're like, pull up the boomer again, even when there's no hay there. T-shirted for $10, I can look at his girlfriend's snatch and pay for his weed habit. So maybe you should be more humble. Exactly, my friend. Exactly. By the way, guys, look for me on T-shirted this weekend, Saturday.
If she's on OnlyFans, does that mean sometimes he's in OnlyFans?
Oh, I don't even want to think about that.
Yeah.
I don't even want to think about that. No. Ugh, I gotta scrub my brain after that one.
I know. Hold on a second before you start.
Ooh. Jake said Jake's breath weapon is passive aggression. Yeah, $10 north of the Rockies. Thank you very much. Very kind. Yeah, he's just one of these kind of like typical millennial, like kind of like like workaholic. He's like his favorite show, even though I kind of liked it too, just for a larf every once in a while. But like he probably loved like Workaholics. Like, look at these guys, getting high every day and like having their their kind of menial jobs. Only he wanted to turn it into a lifestyle, so now he's like, I'll just be a streamer, bro.
Hey, dude.
Yeah. And like I said, he was kind of big when he was with that
other partner.
Yeah, that Hugo/Hannah, who, by the way, he did a video. I encourage you guys to watch to see how mean this guy is. There's always an undercurrent, like with these kinds of people, and you'll sense it even when he's talking to his girl. I actually kind of felt sad for her a few times because you could tell he was kind of like losing his cool with her, like subtly, like no, pull this up, do this, blah, blah. He was kind of being like purposefully like kind of controlling and mean. But this video, he was talking about his old host partner, Hugo, and I think they used to be together because I think I've seen like them actually physically, like sitting in the same studio. Some of their older videos.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
They sat across from each other maybe one was at a desk and
yeah.
yeah.
I was even thinking of another one, but yeah.
And they had trophies in the back.
Yes. Yeah. Because the last time we talked about this guy, I think that's what we played. Yeah. So they were near each other or something. Well,
same studio.
Yeah. Same studio. So look, things happen. Hugo turned into Hannah.
Reaper says they were roommates.
Okay. Roommates. There you go. Well, it was clear this Hugo had a crush on Jake. He was he I don't know, fell in love with him or whatever. Now I'm not going to speak on, him transitioning and all that. That's fine. Whoops. Didn't mean to bring Scott Garibay into this.
Yeah, Scott didn't do nothing.
Yeah, Scott didn't do nothing. But
what'd I do?
Scott's like, what did I do? His next video. But to listen to this video where essentially we'll call her Hannah now, formerly Hugo, now Hannah, was basically like trying to essentially tell, you could kind of tell he was trying to get the message through to Jake, like, hey, I love you, or, I've always been, I've always had this thing for you.
And I
will always. Yeah. So somehow Jake, because people like him always do this because he's an awful human being, painted himself as the victim and says he will no longer associate with his former partner. I think this Hannah was just like, hey, I'm sorry to do, sorry to have to confess this to you, but I've loved you, for a long time, blah blah blah. And this dipshit is the one, Mr. Pro Trans Rights and all that stuff, was leaking private messages from Hannah. What a scumbag you are, Jake. You are an absolute scumbag. In more ways than one. Well, we'll show everybody the other reasons you are. But just for doing that to somebody who had feelings for you, and look, all you had to do was say, look, brother, this ain't going to work out. I don't go that way. Let's just keep it professional, or if we can't, let's just, let's just part ways. But no, you had to make a huge video out of it because, people wanted to know what happened with Hannah. You could have just told them, look, guys, it's just, we're just not working together anymore. Maybe that'll change. And everybody would have been fine. But what you really wanted to do was monetize it. So you monetized somebody's life who had feelings for you. and you burn them like the scumbag that you are. And by the way, Jake, this is how you prepare for a live stream. You don't just go, let me fumble around and pull up the player's handbook and this guy, blah, blah. This is how you prepare. See, I watched a lot of that video where you threw Hannah under the bus, and it revealed what a scumbag you are. And for those of you that like to go down the rabbit hole with this clown, I encourage you to do that too. You will walk away feeling dirty on what kind of a guy he is. Because this guy is awful. The scum of the earth.
Who's singing Reaper?
What's that?
This guy, Double D.
Singing Reaper. Did you actually watch the vid? Yes, I did. Hannah said, no, he didn't. Oh, singing Reaper. GTFO. She was talking shit about him and dragging his name through the mud for a year. She sexually harassed him? You talk about Hannah? This gets confusing because I still don't. All right. No. It's not sexual harassment. Okay. It's not even close. First of all, it's like online because I don't think they're together anymore. Because like I said, he leaked a bunch of like private messages. He could have just said, brother, I'm gonna put you on silenced for a while. All right.
Yeah, it's
all right. He spams that one more time, him out or something. Yeah, we don't need you like simping for they live near each other. Oh my God. Yeah, he's still a scumbag singing Reaper. Yeah, go ahead and prove me wrong. He's a scumbag. Yeah, use more caps, exactly. Yeah, that always works well. Aboleth's tentacles, and he had...
Dude, are you telling a story?
...to make actually a death save, which fortunately...
You're the DM? You can't make this sound like it was fun?
He passed. You don't think it's fun? But it seems each combat that I've run has at least a baseline of danger to it. Some of them, due to bad rolls on my part, were a lot easier for the party, and some, quite frankly, a lot tougher. But there's no more 5e style cakewalks, which we were running into quite a bit. And as a DM, that's all you want.
5e cakewalks?
5e cakewalks? This is the worst commentary. He really is like Sniper Wolf.
Cakewalks. 5th edition is so... Like, are you using the CR system? Which doesn't really work. In Dungeons & Dragons, monsters have a CR, which is a challenge rating. Probably a dragon. No, it's a beholder. Oh, yeah. Anyway...
Yeah, scintillating... content here, Jake. You talk about me being boring. Let me derail everything and just tell you what a challenge rating is.
Challenge rating 13. So the idea would be that 4 level 13 characters would have a good time fighting a beholder. I run games with 6 players. So it's just not going to work for me. And then they also have my player, so that's 7. Plus they have, like
exactly,
pets
Howard.
And shit at this point.
Good to see you here,
so that's more bodies going on. They would dumpster a beholder right now, I think.
Yes, exactly.
2 beholders, though? Now that's fucking wacky. Let's get weird.
Who asked?
Double beholder? Can't even think of why 2 beholders would be around each other. Yeah, I can.
Yeah, well, we got that. Ugh.
NPC? Well, so I was a player in a campaign with them, and then they asked me to run it instead, and my character was gone, and then they got him back.
Yeah, Jeff, CR is the enemy of fun. Yeah, you don't want every encounter to be symmetrical. You want some asymmetry. Some you can set up as this should go well for the PCs, but some it's like no, this is above their pay grade. They don't have to fight it to the very end, to the bitter death, but it's going to be a challenge, and if they win, it's going to be something to celebrate. A world that has...
So now he's there. Just recently. Like
exactly, Ironcaster. He's telling us his D&D story. Thought that was bad when I did it. Yeah, exactly.
It's a few months.
Danger and reward in
Shirley, if you're out there, I did something. I apologize. I might have deleted something. Keep going, Double D.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, post Surly, so I can tell you're here.
10 sessions, maybe.
CNC uses the familiar Vancian-style magic system that D&D has always used, and it works just fine. But in the Castle Keeper's Guide, Castle Keeper being CNC's name for a dungeon master, you can find a couple of intriguing magic system options. You can convert to a mana point style system, which is actually the one we're using right now. You still choose your spells, but if you need to cast healing multiple times, you have the flexibility to do that. There's also a system where instead of the traditional fire and forget, where the spell goes off automatically, you have to make a die 20 siege engine check. The siege
Faith or skill-based spell casting in this system, instead of spending points or using a fire and for.
Now he's just reading. He's just reading what I have on screen. Thought there'd be more personal attacks, Jake. Come on now. By the way, I should be able to tell. Hold on one second. I'm going to let this roll for a little bit. I'll check and see if there's. I'll need control though.
Check something for.
Spellcaster makes
yeah,
a siege
I will.
check to cast any of the spell they have prepared. System definitely has the effect of powering up spellcasters somewhat. So CKs, Castle Keeper, should be prepared for that eventually. As casters raise in level, they can throw around low-level spells with impunity using this system. So if that creates an unbalance in your game, keep that in mind.
Siege engine, by the
Happy
way,
to have
is
you.
the basic
Glad you like
mechanic
stuff.
of this game. Roll
Forever.
20, hope for high. I'll expand on it in a little bit. But anyway, that type of system where you have to roll to successfully get your spell off adds a little bit of uncertainty, a la...
All right, so I've been thinking about. I'm going to use this opportunity to talk about D&D and have some fun with you guys. How about
He's
that?
not on here.
And then we'll press play every once in a while, and we'll see how far I can get into this before I just want to rip my eyes out. So I've been thinking about an exertion. I don't like in Dungeons and Dragons. You have an exhaustion system. Let me show you. Exhaustion 5e. It'll probably give me the.
Oh, good lord. Guys, should I pull the plug?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like him.
Yeah.
I don't like what he's standing. I don't like him.
Yeah.
I just don't like him.
I don't like him either. And the thing is, Jake, you made the cardinal sin of not being entertaining. You should have just said I was a divorced boomer 10 times. It would have been like a lot easier. But guess what? You're done, and now it's my turn. Oh, look at you. You are fat.
He does look like Samuel Tarly.
Yes. God, this guy does this like for. Imagine this is your job, just
and not
pissing
being good
around.
at it.
Yeah, just
that
being.
would be the frustrating
Yeah.
part. Like maybe you're good, like you enjoy doing it, but you're not good
Yeah.
at it, so you just keep trying. I get it.
Well, he was apparently a pretty good like atheist because that's what him and Hugo/Hannah did. So they just tore apart like, I don't know, Christian fundamentalists, whatever. And maybe there's a market for that. That's fine. But now that he's on his own, it's like it's just not entertaining at all. I mean, not at all. Look at that hairline. I think he made a comment one time, or his chick did, about mine. It's like, Jake, I'm 20 years older than you.
Shut up, boomer.
Okay, I got news for you. My hair was in a little better shape at that age. God. If you guys ever want like the equivalent of saltpeter, you guys need a hard off. Just look at this. Show this to your woman. Nothing like seeing a man who looks like that in a Gryffindor.
Gryffindor's like Harry Potter.
It is. It is. Yeah, I haven't seen Surly. Surly, if you were timed out or something, that was a mistake,
and it's my fault.
Yeah,
I read the wrong name.
Yeah.
Not read. I went to go click
Yeah.
on it, and I clicked the wrong name.
Yeah. So please accept our.
It's my apology.
Yes.
I'm the one that screwed
Yes.
that up.
And
And I think maybe his timeout's probably over.
Yeah, I don't know how long it times out.
I timed
for.
the other guy out for 30.
Okay.
And Surly, I'm looking and it said for 5.
Okay. Pour one out for Surly for 5 minutes.
Does that mean I kicked him off the show?
No, I think he's just can't chat. We're still showing Crazy Mouse the controls here. It's okay.
Well,
these things will
that
happen.
one there was just me not reading it properly.
Yeah.
That's my fault.
It's all right. It's all right. Surly, wherefore art thou, says Overkill Joe. Surly's getting a lot of attention, a lot of love. Oh, there's Jake. Grow, I'm literally grilling in my
We
backyard.
saw that one
We
before.
did, yeah. Here's the one that you don't like, and
That
I
is
don't like,
correct.
and nobody likes. So imagine a guy like this. What kind of a guy, I'm just asking, would be interested in this kind of information? That's all I'm asking. I'm not making any allegations. If that simp is still watching, why do we need to know how old you were when you experienced a stirring in your loins. Why are you putting 3 or younger? Who remembers anything when they're 3 or younger, other than like, you know, I don't know, getting blasted with a, you know, something like a baseball or something, you know, something traumatic. 4 to 9 years old. 1,600 people answered this. Well, I guess we know how many people have issues. He still has never. I've asked him on Twitter, Jake, what did you mean by this? This is really gross. And I don't use that very often because I think it's overused. But ugh, yeah, exactly. Snake oil, Sean. Yep. Exactly.
He's the one that answered it multiple times. Like actual Jake. That's what Community Claymore said. Excuse me.
He's answered multiple times. Oh, really? You just refuse? Oh, yeah.
He's
yeah, another one of his simps.
He's
Yeah,
like
another
4 to
simp.
9, 4 to 9. He just keeps hitting it.
Yeah. Nope. Yep. I mean, by answer it, if you mean his answer was, why don't you come on and debate me, bro? Which will never happen, by the way. I can't believe you guys are over here simping for him. What pathetic lives you guys must have. You're spending time boosting my numbers.
Thank you. Hit that like and subscribe.
Yeah, hit the like and subscribe, douchebags. Much appreciated. PDFs. Yeah, so he's explained it. Maybe you could try to explain it. David Brown, thank you. The main reason you jumped on the CNC Reforge Kickstarter. Thank you for your. Thank you very much for that comment. But yeah, this is creepy. Any reasonable person, and Crazy Mouse is always the sounding board here because he'll let me know if he'll give me the truth. He's immediately revolted by this. So just going to let that linger for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's probably the ages that Jake likes. Okay, moving on. Yeah, see, this is what he was always saying. Finally going to come chat. This is when I, that, by the way, that was his explanation. Finally going to come chat. No, I'll settle for a written explanation on that poll, Jake. Got one? I'd be happy to chat about it. You seem scared. Worried I'll make you look bad?
No.
Yeah. No, I'm not worried about that. And yeah, there's no way in hell I'm ever going on your dumb channel on Twitch.
Why would you want to be linked
I know.
to
It's
that?
like, yeah, exactly. How is that putting money in my pocket? How is that a good use of my
Why do you
time?
want to even
How
be
is that?
associated with like, oh, you had a conversation with somebody about having sexual feelings at 3 or younger?
Yeah.
If someone was just summarizing the entire chat, not looking at the whole thing, that snippet would be in there.
My man, guess who's back?
Surly,
back again.
My
Surly's
humble
back.
apologies. That was all me.
Tell a friend, guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's... Good job. Sorry about that, Surly.
You know,
he knows.
Thank you.
He knows. He knows.
It reminds me of like Royal Rumble. When
Yeah,
when
that's
you're
right.
you're waiting
Yes.
to get in the ring.
5, 4,
And
the
then he
countdown
runs
becomes
down. Thank you so much.
He came running down to the ring like Ric Flair. All right. So this was your boy's explanation, you dummies. He wanted me to come on so he could quote unquote humiliate me. You wouldn't be able to humiliate me, Jake. But why would I let you have a mute button over me? I'm not that dumb. I know you convince other people to come on your show, and you just talk over them and probably mute them to make them look bad. But no, I'm not going to do that, especially when you are a reprehensible, horrible person who falsely cries, sexual harassment from somebody who just had a crush on you, and then you expose their private messages. What a scumbag. Scum of the earth you are. We can get by this. All right, that was just me and him kind of spatting back and forth. Yeah, but this tells you the kind of guy he is. Guess I'm just awake when I say weed helps me sleep. This is what I meant. Oh, shaking my head. A 3-hour nap.
Oh, boy. We know somebody takes 3-hour naps in the middle of the day.
Yeah, you're killing it, bro. Yeah, you're absolutely killing it. Keep doing what you're doing.
Keep fighting a good fight.
Yeah. Oh, he's Pauly. Oh my! Oh, shocking. Does that mean that you're? One thing you have to understand about this guy is He wants to be the next Destiny, the omni-liberal. Right down to the cucking. 3-hour nap and he calls you a boomer. Exactly, yeah. This is who by the way, this is who he wants to emulate. This is his hero. Luis Rivera. Oh, like a baseball player, doesn't it?
Yeah, like a shortstop
Yeah.
from San Pedro de
Yeah,
Macorís.
yeah. Coming up through the minor leagues, Luis Rivera. He's hitting like 280. Clean fielding percentage.
Bring him up.
Bring him up. Send him up. So this is his hero. This is Destiny is a huge streamer, like, millions of followers. He's a kind of a midget, and he is famous for getting cucked almost on a live stream. That is his wife behind him. And he has I think it was his friend in studio. This is kind of funny. I'm just going to let this play out. So this is the guy that, whether he says it or not, this is who Jake wants to be. Right down to what happens here.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Mel time.
Why did I say this?
Mel time. It's Mel time.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again. Because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping. And the vision that was planted in my brain.
What would you be doing, Crazy Mouse, if your wife is standing behind you dancing with another man, fairly romantically?
It's hard to say because it wouldn't happen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that situation would not happen.
I don't know.
Yeah. But I mean, look, Jake, his girlfriend is like an OnlyFans thought. This could very well happen to him. He's an OF, polycuck. Yeah, exactly. An MCDM simp and a belligerent atheist. He's hit the trifecta. A living fail elemental. Yes. Yeah, don't ever argue with like one of those militant atheists. They're horrible. Just horrible. And they have so much invested in it. They'll wear you down because nobody is as excited about their faith as they are about their lack of faith. Just to put a bow on that Destiny. Yeah, that's him and his girl in happier times. And that below is the guy, and I don't know if that's who was dancing with her, but that's the guy he lost his wife to. Yeah. That is his hero. Back to Jake. Yeah, I'm platonically DTF. I don't actively want to have SEX with every single girlfriend I have, but if we're friends, it's more likely we'll share attraction, so it happens. Yeah. We've seen the pictures, and I got an idea of what you're pulling, Jake. You're a fat, round Gryffindor turd. I'm 6'4", rocket arm. Sorry. I got the lottery. You got the scratch off.
Playing the scratchers.
So. Oh, I love this one. This guy calling him out. Actually, it's very possible to have SEX without dragging a woman around on a dog collar. Not everyone is a predator. This is what Jake says. It may blow your mind to know that I've had SEX with people with and without collars. If you're upset by us constantly doing KINK, that's a personal issue you have to work out, probably with a therapist. Yeah, that's his problem. That you like to lead women around in dog collars. Fantastic. Mr. Starsan here says, well, you felt particularly upset when I called you sir. If I haven't put a collar on you, don't call me sir. And then OPIS says, actually, it's very possible to have SEX without dragging a woman around in a dog collar. Same tweet. Not everyone's a predator. And then Jake says, oh, have you considered that the collar makes me CUM good? This is what I mean, guys. If these are my enemies, I'm doing something right. Yeah. I'm doing something good. This is a guy who can't get off without leading a woman around and treating her like an animal. And the thing is, she'll tell you like, oh no, it's consensual. What this guy does, and I can almost guarantee it, he finds emotionally damaged women who do quote unquote like it, until they break free of it and then start getting into therapy and realizing like, oh my God, that guy was the worst thing that ever happened to me. He's an absolute predator. Yeah, he's calling this guy a misogynist and kink shaming. This guy simply saying if a woman wants to be slapped, spit on, and choked during sex, that's a cry for help. Her partner should find his balls and say no. Absolutely. I mean, if it's very like violent stuff like that, that is a cry for help. I mean, look, I'm not a therapist, but good Lord, and this Jake is just like, yeah, stop harshing my buzz, bro.
Hey, man,
Yeah.
each their own, dude.
And here he is at the bottom, this whole conversation. Are you talking about like rough sex or something? You should come chat, because he wants to defend it, because he's a scumbag.
The TCL Roku TV needs fixed.
Oh, yeah. I don't even know what this is. Oh, that's his girl. And I don't care. She puts this publicly anyway. So she's the one that like edits these videos, so she can F off too. I mean, I don't have anything personal against her, but she can F off too. Honey, you need help. I don't like you, but there we go. Put that up. I don't really like you, care for you very much, but no guy wants to see a woman being taken advantage of. And this guy, whether you know it or not, he is putting you through the emotional ringer, and he is doing damage to you. So you may think like, ooh, I'm in control, blah, blah, blah. No, you are going to be a mess in 15 years.
15's generous.
Well, just all I'll say is don't ever do anything rash. Just try to talk to someone. You will wake up someday and realize this guy is horrible. This guy is a monster. And, I know that day ain't today, but it'll come. Don't be too hard on yourself. It's all right. He's kind of a skeevy slime bag with a silver tongue. So there he is. It's a good one to end on, isn't it, Crazy Mouse?
Mm-hmm.
Big fat toad, like Hideki Matsui. Isn't that what George Steinbrenner called him? Fat toad. Not you, Luis Rivera. Hideki Matsui. There you go. She'll still look better than we do. We have some of these simps in here?
Some of them are kind of gone now.
Yeah, she's a mess now. Well, yep. I love how they kind of like, when you start showing them all this stuff, they just have to kind of be like, oh, well, hey, you're bad. No,
you are.
Yeah. Sorry. Nope. I got the goods. Look, I just hate leftists. It's the only people I really hate. Committed leftists. Well, as I said, no Rogan tonight, so no O&R live play.
Rogan, we're thinking about you.
Yep. Hope you're watching this on the replay. Crazy Mouse is all over the baddies.
Well, when I figured out how to do it, yeah. When I read the right name.
He's I've created a monster. And look, generally, if they can say their piece, but if they just start...
I let everyone... Yeah. I gave everyone a couple posts so that it was fair.
Yeah. But like we said, if they're just spamming...
If now you're just causing trouble.
Yeah, if they're just spamming, then F them. Like, I'm not going to give...
Look, they're invited... They came to our house, right? They're at our house, and someone's fucking around with your parents' Fabergé egg. You got to ask them to leave.
You got it. Snake Oil Sean. Look at this. A bookend. 5
to beginning.
Membership.
5 to end.
Yeah. Thank you very much, buddy. I do appreciate it. Yeah, so that's Jake. Kind of sad. I was almost going to do a video, and then I'm like, that's not really video content. YouTube would punish me for that kind of content. When you do that kind of stuff on a video, it assumes like, oh, you want this kind of audience. We'll try to find it for you, but you're going to start at ground zero. Not a not what you want. So I kind of didn't want to do a true video on him. I mean, I did.
That's a good call.
Yeah, but I was kind of like, no, I don't want that. So now it is good live stream entertainment because it's just a segment, kind of like I am for him. So, you know, we'll do the tit for tat. He can call me a divorced boomer all he wants. By the way, I think Mrs. D is home.
Yeah, it's ironic.
Remind me to tell her that we're divorced.
That your beard is here.
Yes. Yes, and Surly is here. Sorry you got caught in the crossfire there, buddy. he took a bullet to the foot. He's back in action 5 minutes later. Yeah, God, what these simps of his, like he has a couple of really dedicated simps on Twitter, and of course the kind that would come over here. Yeah, they're on the payroll. So, yeah. What can I say? All right. Well, normally this is where we would say goodbye, and we would play a little O&R. But we can't do that, not without our beloved Rorik. So next week, for sure. Yeah, Edgelord the D is for divorce, yeah. Yep. Surly, help, I'm being repressed. All right. Well, guys, you've been most entertaining tonight.
Very generous with your time and your wallet. Thank you.
Super chats, yep. Memberships. Thank you guys, all of you. It's kind of an in and out. This was a very, if we were pitchers, it would be like, he put in a very workmanlike effort tonight.
Yep.
Wasn't flashy. He got like 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, left with a 1-run lead. That's how I'd view this stream. I don't know.
6 strikeouts in those 6 innings.
Surly, how about making it up to me with some Dio? I could do that.
Yeah,
I could do that. Oh, that'll give Jake something else to. Although he's probably seen it before. So you little twinks and minions, make sure to report back. I'm going to do the video I did with Dio. So you guys
look at
can
that.
go.
Not only did Surly ask for it, but Jeff from Downcar.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you for asking.
Yep,
that's all we need. All right.
Thank you, everybody. Have
Thank
a good
you,
one.
everyone. I'll lead you out with some double Dio, as they say.
Like and subscribe, yo.
Yep. Even you stupid simps of Jake. And Jake, those hands, baby.
Ugh. You can palm a tennis ball.
Yep. Sorry. I got quarterback hands. I got wide receiver hands. Dude, those hands are tiny. Those are really small hands. Don't ever show your hands on stream again, buddy, because that was embarrassing. All right, everybody. Love you. Just got to find the Dio when I hit you out. So peace, and we'll talk soon. Got to squeeze in a video. I'm behind. It's been 2 weeks since my last one, so I'll get something out, or YouTube will punish me. All right. Have a good rest of the night and a good rest of your week. We'll talk soon. And I should be on a T-shirted show on Saturday, guys. So
5:30 Eastern, you said, right?
Yeah, I believe 5 or 5:30. Just double check his channel. It's 5 or 5:30 Eastern. I'll be on for like an hour and a half, maybe. In and out. We'll put in a good workman-like effort there too, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Peace. Love you.
see